Hello everyone, this is Col Sanjay Pande and with me is Shubhankar Chaudhary.
Hey,
We are in the ninth episode now of Youth and Mind Power. Again, I will reiterate that all these episodes must be seen in absolute strict seniority because each is interconnected with each other in exactly the same seniority.
yeah,
You cannot at random pick up one and say, no, it has got connection with the previous and the next one. We are talking about the last C now, that is the contribution. We talk about the level 1 of character, in which there were four major characteristics that we spoke of. Thereafter, we had a roundup. Those four thereafter were put under one bundle called character, in which we said more attributes must come, which again happened to be only 1/4 of the credibility circle. That was character. Thereafter came commitment. After commitment came
capability.
capability, which we discussed last. And now we are talking about contribution. As soon as you find a person lacking in contribution, rather than getting after him, start getting after seeing his capability. Soon as you find a person lacking capability, start looking at his commitment. Likewise, lack of commitment, have a look at character. A flaw over there, and start doubting the first four pillars.
Hmm.
Keep on doing this back and forth journey for every person that you meet. You will have the finest of the people with you. Play with this order, you will regret it.
So, you effectively, sir, you are saying that if you have a highly capable person, which most people optimize for, they only look for that, but they are not very high on integrity. Their character may be wanting in some ways, and also commitment, which of course you can't really find out unless you hire someone and then observe them over a period of time. So you're saying that if character isn't there, it doesn't matter if you have all the capabilities in the world, all the commitment in the world, you are still going to mess up for your organization.
Remember one thing, what a person accepts is his problem. So if there is a person sitting in a position where to him the capability matters number one, character, commitment, contribution doesn't. And there are numerous cases like this. Every organization you have people, and as a very standard, yeah, what do we have to do with other things here? He produces results. Why should we bother about this? Remember one thing, sooner or later, the organization will pay such a heavy price that whatever short term benefits the manager or the senior person had seen in that junior, it all will be squared up.
Yeah.
It is rather better not to have certain revenues or certain benefits that are short term rather than having this man continue. Tomorrow, if he joins competition and he takes everything from you and he hands it over to competition, so where exactly are those revenues, additional revenues that he had given when, despite knowing that he is lacking in character, you still let him do it? So it does not speak about him. It speaks about you and your ambition and your greed, which actually made you overlook these things. So it depends upon you.
So this basically, sir, tells us or tells I would say senior people in an organization how they should be looking at bringing in fresh blood into their setup. So how what I would just want to bring out is how should a young person or someone in their who's mid career look at this last C as how should they be looking to contribute to their organization?
I'll tackle your question from two different ends. When it comes to any senior person, you will never come to know the truthfulness, the honesty, the moral courage of a person. You will never come to know character or his commitment or his capability or his contribution on day one.
Yeah.
No, you will not. So, whatever experience you have, you are hiring. So, you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
Start giving yourself 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. And in those, you have your systems to check out on all of these things.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, that your hiring process does not stop from the day the person joins. It ends when they are completely aligned with your organization.
Exactly. It ends the day it is aligned with the organization, or you are convinced that it can never align with the organization.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
True.
the point is, if you can't sack, don't hire. Very simple. So, if you cannot sack, don't hire. And if you are ready to sack, the 3, 6, 9, and 12 months benchmarks, which I said, in which you should have your metrics to judge a subordinate on all of these, ask yourself one thing: where is your metrics? Did you make one for yourself? So it is when it is top to down. So every man responsible is responsible for the people who are working under him.
Yeah.
That is one. Secondly, your question that a newcomer who joins the organization, if you have character, if you have capability, if you have commitment, if you have the attitude to contribute, if you are honest, if you are truthful, if you have got moral courage, you simply work.
I think basically, sir, contribution simply is like a mathematical formula where you simply add up character, commitment, and capability,
So it automatically
and
comes out.
automatically the contribution comes
It
out.
automatically
Yeah.
comes out. If you are committed, you will always look for work.
Yeah.
You will not look for your manager to look at you. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, you will look for work that you, as per you, is going to benefit organization.
In fact, at the last, when I was in consulting, I remember there used to be one guy in the office who everyone would walk up to anytime that they had a difficulty. We used to use a lot of analytics software over there, and this guy was known as a wizard throughout the office. The best part was that he had just joined the company a year before me. So we were the youngest people in the company. He was as good as, a very, very junior person at an analyst level, and everyone from the senior managers to the youngsters who would join, they would all walk up to him because he was the wizard for those particular analytics softwares. And I asked him what he did. He simply said that when I joined in my first year, I would spend a couple of hours every day after work learning this stuff, and he said I genuinely liked it, that's why I did it. And it wasn't because I got any short-term benefit or I got any brilliant cases to work on because of that. But over time, he developed his reputation in such a way that the last I heard, he had been transferred to the London office on a completely new project within the company. And he is working on something so innovative that, people can't even think of. So that's how serendipitously things happen.
Exactly. That is what exactly I'm saying. So when you are focusing on the traits that I'm saying, and as soon as you see all these 9 videos, including this one, don't go and hit the books. Okay, this is called a trait, and this is called character, and this is called this. If all those things which are written in the books were so correct, why have you not been able to apply it correctly? And why are you still seeking to find out? Good employees? The difference between my approach and difference between the books is only one. When I was taught the book back in 1981, that is the time I had come from a very humble background. I did not know anything. I simply decided one thing: if this is what the book says and if this is what the leadership says, that I should have, I will follow each and every characteristic trait that talks about leadership traits or about good character, good human being, anything that was written in that book. I followed it for my entire service. One suffers quite a lot, but then what is written in book is not wrong. Problem is not what is written in book. Problem is who follows it.
So, what book are you referring to?
I am talking about any book
Okay.
which talks about character, which talks about leadership, which you have so many lecturers. Is there any university? Is there any college? Is there any school, training institution where leadership is not taught?
Mm.
If it is taught, everywhere it is taught. My question is, where are the leaders?
In fact, I think I read a statistic that said that leadership is the number one topic on LinkedIn. That most people are interested in just that one topic.
One topic of leadership.
Yeah.
My point is very simple. If there is no institution that imparts education, knowledge, oblique training to people in this country at school level, college level, senior level, training level, senior most bureaucratic level, highest levels, everywhere leadership is being taught. My point is very simple. Where are the leaders?
Mm.
If it was so effective, each and every organization should be working at peak level. Does it? Whether you talk about COVID vaccination planning, it's no reflection on the government or politicians. It is a reflection on any and every one who was in hierarchy. And it is not bureaucrats. Everyone for that matter, army, corporates, each one failed. Each one failed. There could have been things could have been done so much more beautifully. So if there are leaders and if all of them have exactly the same type of traits, because everyone was taught that, and if everyone is following that, where is their contribution? So now do you understand that when I say these things come in a very strict order, contribution will come only and only when you have a capability. Capability will come only when you have commitment. Commitment will come if you have character. A strong character will come if you have good foundation. Now, whether it is your hiring process, whether it is your appraisal process, whether it is your day to day working, if you start encouraging such people within the organization who, based on their lip service or PowerPoint presentation capabilities, are able to carry the day, they will keep on getting promoted.
Yeah.
And the people who actually are very strong in their work, character, after a while they'll simply say, there is no fun working here, we'll go. It is always, you can start even today. How exactly? You have to have a workshop for absolutely senior people. From there, the pruning has to start. The new system has to start. Let it take 5 years. But in those 5 years, even if you have 10% of your employees, 10%, even if you have 10% of your employees who fulfill all these characteristics that we have said, you have a fantastic organization. Because that 10% has the capability to push the balance 90%.
That's true.
And that's where actually the crux is.
Yeah, and from employee's perspective, uh, I would say that all this sounds very, very tough to do. It's not easy at all. We are talking of four core characteristics and then additional characteristics that build your character. We are talking of building your capabilities, which are so hard to do over time. It takes a lot of time and effort. We are talking about your commitment, which is you just have to be committed day in, day out. You can't afford to take 7 days off because you don't feel like it. When you're in a organization, when you're in a high impact role. And then we're talking about all of these things being amalgamated and coming out as contribution. That's your end result. And then you have to do this every single day. There is no off. All of this is extremely hard to do. But the point is that there are so few people that you will find who actually do this. and that's what makes you stand out. If you practice this, what Colonel Pandey has been talking about, what I have been learning from Colonel Pandey over all of these years, that is what will make you stand out in any organization that you go. And if you think about it, these four C's, they don't only apply to your professional life, they apply to your personal life as well. They apply to your they apply to your personal life with your spouse. If you don't have perfect character, if you're not completely aligned with each other, your values aren't aligned, if you don't have commitment towards each other, if you're not capable of being in a relationship, it can be simple things as if how well do you manage conflict? That's a capability that almost all couples need to have. And then coming to your contribution towards each other. So all of this attitude that you have of having the four C's and working on them, be it in professional or your personal life, it is what makes you stand out, because I have not really observed many people who do this.
Yeah, another thing that I would like to add here is when we talk about contribution, contribution has to come voluntarily. Contribution cannot be forced.
Yeah.
And to have a voluntary contribution, you have to have a very, very healthy person
Yeah.
who actually wants to contribute. And in order to contribute, he must have some capability to contribute, which you built. You only build capability in those people in whom you saw commitment.
Hmm.
And the people in whom you saw commitment, you already had checked them for their character. So go over 1 year, go over 2 years, go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and maybe over a period of time you come to know and you start grading people. There is no one who is bad. But at the same time, we have to see what are the organizational interests. Remember one thing, as soon as one slippery eel slips through and occupies one higher chair, he starts presiding over the life of so many down below, and he is actually damaging your organization now.
Yeah.
When we talk about stress, why should there be stress in any corporate anything? No, stress means incapability, nothing else. Stress means incapability from top coming down. There was a day a few years back, I had gone to one of these malls here in Delhi, and there was a area where those whatever those things are called, those there are two wheels and a guy stands on that, and there is a handle to hold, and then it runs very fast inside the malls. So where children and all they use that is some electronics sort of contraption, and then you keep on taking eight.
Those toy tracks with
No,
vehicles.
these are those things which run on the normal floor,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they
Toy
in
cars.
eight toy cars or something, just two wheels and a handle, and they do very fast. I was just standing there when I saw a guy who came in a coat and a tie and something, and then went there quietly. He took off his coat and he took that, and thereafter he was on it, and he was doing this eight rounds in the shape of it. You will be surprised. By my watch, 35 minutes, and he would only be staring in the blank. After he went, I just walked up to that guy. I said, क्या ये होता क्या, ये आधा आधा घंटा क्यों करते हैं लोग वगैरह? बोलता नहीं सर, ये वो मारुति का है ये, और बहुत स्ट्रेस में रहता है, तो इधर स्ट्रेस दूर करके जाता है. There's some Maruti office near, God knows. I don't even know whether that guy knew. But the thing is that he knew that he's from some corporate, and he comes there to relieve his stress. If I was there, I'll sack his boss first. A happy employee means a guy who goes on time. Punctuality does not mean that you come on time. Punctuality also means that you leave on time. So why is punctuality only one way? So when we talk about contribution, there are so many factors that go in. So once you have put all of this together as one package, then you analyze people, and then out of that start selecting people that who out of these should be groomed for leadership. And then they hold their hand, take them to that leadership, and make them stand on the first step. Not the other way around, that the person has got promoted, so now he has become a leader. No, he doesn't.
You can't helicopter leaders into their positions.
So with this, what you want to say something else, Shubhankar?
No.
What we will do is we will wrap up this episode now, the ninth one.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this up here. We have finished with the four C's and how the interplay of these affects an organization. What we will do is we'll have one more episode now, which will close this particular series. So this is going to be a 10 episode series, in which the first two were the two introductory ones, introductory one and introductory two. And then we have come to the ninth. The 10th one is actually going to wrap up all the first nine together. That for an organization, what does it mean? How an organization should actually be looking at all these things in an absolutely fresh manner. Stop using that out of box thinking. I have been insisting on only one thing. Ask yourself who has put me there. Your job profile put you there. Your senior manager put you there. By asking you, this is your JD. It's a box. Where is open thinking? You have vice presidents, your senior vice presidents. Everyone has got a job to do exactly. Fine, he's got a job to do. But why do you put them in the box? Promote open thinking. Let us not quote, let us go by practical experience. Select your hardcore team and they will never leave you. It was great being with you. This is the ninth episode. We close here. Thanks a lot. And from me and Shubhankar, we say goodbye to you.
Bye.
Bye bye.